Ever feel like you're just shouting into the void on social media? Yeah, we've all been there. For years, right, building a community meant you had to set up shop on one of the giant platforms. But what if you could actually move out of that, crowded, rented apartment and build your own digital town square? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to dive into.
I mean, really think about it for a second. You post something you're super excited about, you know your people are going to love it, and then poof, some mysterious algorithm just decides who sees it and when. It is so frustrating, right? For creators, for brands, for everybody. So you got to ask yourself, are you really in control, or is some algorithm the actual boss of your community? And you know that feeling of just not being in the driver's seat? That gets right to the heart of what we can call the rented community problem. Look, building your audience on a huge platform, yeah, it gives you incredible reach, for sure. But it comes with some serious strings attached, some hidden costs and compromises you don't always see at first.
Okay, so the trade-offs, they become crystal clear when you lay it all out like this. On one hand, when you're renting, you're basically playing by someone else's rules, and those rules can change on a whim. Your reach is totally at the mercy of the algorithm. And maybe the most important part, that data, it's not yours. It's just a really noisy, distracting place to be. But when you own the space, the whole game changes. You make the rules. You get that direct engagement. You own your data. And the conversation, it stays focused, just the way you want it.
So, the big question is, how do you actually make that jump from renting to owning? Well, the answer is this really powerful model called SNaaS. That's SNaaS, or Social Networks as a Service.
Probably the easiest way to wrap your head around SNaaS is to think of it like its cousin, SaaS, software as a service. So instead of trying to build a whole social network from the ground up, which is, trust me, crazy complex and expensive, a SNaaS provider just hands you all the tools. They give you the infrastructure you need to launch your very own totally branded community. And the best part? Absolutely no coding required.
So what does a SNaaS provider actually do for you? Well, pretty much all the heavy lifting. First, they handle the core stuff, profiles, feeds, groups, all that. Then, they take care of all the boring but super important techie things, like hosting, security, and maintenance. And finally, they give you the fun tools to customize the look and feel so it perfectly matches your brand. It basically frees you up to focus on what you're actually good at, building and nurturing that community.
So at the end of the day, what this all boils down to is a massive shift, not just in control, but in your whole mindset. You're not just renting some tiny little stall in a giant, chaotic marketplace anymore. No, you are the architect, you are the owner of the entire town square.
And that shift, it leads us straight to the real power of ownership. Because once you own that square, man, you unlock some incredible, absolutely game-changing advantages.
And this right here, this is the big one, complete control. First off, you own all the data, all of it. That is huge, not just for privacy, but for actually understanding your audience. Second, your engagement is totally algorithm-free. You want a simple chronological feed where everybody sees every single post? You got it. And finally, you're safe. You're shielded from those sudden, crazy policy changes on the big platforms that can literally destabilize or even wipe out your community overnight.
And what about the branding? Well, it's completely seamless. Your community isn't stuck inside someone else's app with their logo everywhere. Nope, it lives at your domain. It becomes a true white-labeled extension of your brand, which means you're building authority and value for you, not for some other company. You can almost feel the difference in quality when you put these two side by side. Public networks, right? They're just filled with noise and distractions. You've got news alerts, ads, your cousin's vacation photos, all fighting for attention. But a private SNaaS network, it's a high-focus zone. People are there for one reason and one reason only, to engage with your topic. And that naturally leads to way deeper, much higher quality conversations.
This control also extends directly to your wallet. I mean, how you make money. With SNaaS, you can build monetization right into the fabric of the community itself. We're talking paid memberships, exclusive content tiers, direct sales for your courses or products. And the best part? You're doing it all without a giant platform taking a massive slice of your hard-earned cash. It is an absolute game changer for creators and businesses.
And hey, let's not forget the most important part, the human element. It's just a fact. When people feel like they're in a safe, private space, they're so much more willing to open up, to ask real questions, to be a little vulnerable, and to engage honestly. And that fosters a level of trust and depth that is, Well, it's pretty much impossible to get in a noisy public forum.
All right, so when you put all these pieces together, the control, the branding, the monetization, the trust, you get to this really powerful conclusion. This isn't just about finding a cooler, better tool. It's about fundamentally changing how you think about and value your community from the get-go.
And this really brings us to the ultimate takeaway. With this model, your community stops being just another expense on your marketing budget. It becomes a real proprietary asset. It's something you actually own, something you can grow, and something that builds tangible, lasting value for your business for years to come. It's equity. You're building equity for yourself.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. If you weren't held back by algorithms or weird platform rules or all the constant distractions, if you had total freedom to build the perfect, dedicated space just for your people, what could you build if you owned your very own digital town square?